What if one phone call could change the course of the most dangerous war in Europe since World War II? For years, Russia and Ukraine have been locked in a brutal conflict that has reshaped global politics, shattered cities, and pushed the world closer to confrontation between nuclear powers. But hidden beneath the battlefield is another story. A story involving Donald Trump, secret negotiations, political pressure, shifting alliances, and a mystery that continues to divide world leaders. Because some believe Trump is trying to end the war. Others believe he could change the balance of power entirely. And the most shocking part? Nobody knows how this story ends. Before we dive deeply, kindly subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries. On February 24, 2022, Russian forces crossed into Ukraine. What many expected to be a rapid military operation quickly became one of the most significant conflicts of the 21st century. Cities were attacked. Millions fled their homes. Global markets reacted. Governments rushed to respond. The United States and its allies began providing military, economic, and humanitarian support to Ukraine. As the war expanded, so did its consequences. Energy prices surged. Diplomatic relations fractured. And the world entered a new era of uncertainty. What began as a regional conflict became a global crisis. From the beginning, the United States became one of Ukraine's most important supporters. Military aid flowed into the country. Advanced defensive systems were supplied. Economic assistance helped keep the Ukrainian government functioning. Supporters argued that helping Ukraine was necessary to defend international security. Critics questioned the long-term cost and strategy. The debate grew larger with every passing year. Yet one thing became clear. America was no longer watching from the sidelines. It had become a major player in the conflict. Then came one of the most closely watched political comebacks in modern history. Donald Trump returned to the White House promising a different approach to foreign policy. Throughout his political career, Trump repeatedly argued that the war should end through negotiation rather than becoming an endless conflict. His statements immediately drew worldwide attention. Supporters saw an opportunity for peace. Critics feared concessions could benefit Moscow. The world waited to see what would happen next. And then something unexpected occurred. A claim began spreading through political circles. Some observers suggested Trump believed he could succeed where years of diplomacy had failed. Could one administration accomplish what multiple international summits, sanctions, and negotiations could not? The claim sounded unbelievable. Yet Trump's team increased diplomatic contacts while publicly discussing pathways toward ending the conflict. Recent reports indicate continued conversations involving Washington, Kyiv, and Moscow regarding possible future negotiations. Suddenly, the possibility of a negotiated settlement was once again dominating headlines. They know the war has transformed Europe. They know the conflict has lasted far longer than many expected. They know every major diplomatic effort has faced enormous obstacles. They also know that the Trump administration has publicly stated its desire to help bring the conflict to an end through negotiations. Recent statements from President Trump and senior officials have described efforts to encourage discussions between Russia and Ukraine while pursuing potential ceasefire arrangements. At the same time, military support for Ukraine has remained a major issue. Recent reports show ongoing debates surrounding Patriot missile systems and broader security assistance, illustrating how diplomacy and military strategy continue to overlap. The evidence reveals a complicated reality. The United States has attempted to balance support for Ukraine with efforts to pursue a possible peace process. What does ending the war actually mean? For some, peace means an immediate ceasefire. For others, peace without acceptable security guarantees could create future risks. This disagreement has become one of the defining controversies of the conflict. Every proposal raises difficult questions. Who compromises? Which territories are discussed? What guarantees would exist? And who decides whether a peace agreement is fair? These questions have divided politicians, military experts, and international observers across the world. During 2026, reports suggested shifts in tone regarding Ukraine, including public praise for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and discussions involving Patriot missile production and defense cooperation. These developments surprised observers who expected a more confrontational relationship. Meanwhile, diplomatic discussions continued. Russia publicly stated it remained interested in reviewing new U.S. proposals, even while fighting continued on the battlefield. The result? A situation that became even harder to predict. The lines between diplomacy, military strategy, and political messaging grew increasingly blurred. Many people think the biggest mystery is whether the war will end. But the deeper mystery may be something else. How will history judge this moment? Will future historians say the conflict was ultimately resolved through military pressure? Through diplomacy? Through economic sanctions? Or through a combination of all three? Nobody knows. And that uncertainty is exactly why this story remains one of the most important geopolitical dramas of our time. As of July 2026, discussions surrounding possible peace initiatives, sanctions, military aid, and future security arrangements remain active. The Trump administration continues to signal interest in negotiations, while fighting and military operations continue on the ground. Reports indicate ongoing debate over sanctions legislation, Patriot missile cooperation, and future diplomatic proposals. The war is not over. The negotiations are not finished, and the final outcome remains uncertain. Years from now, historians may look back on this conflict as the moment that reshaped the global balance of power. But one question still hangs over everything. If peace eventually comes, will it be remembered as a diplomatic breakthrough that ended a devastating war? Or will future generations discover that the most important negotiations were happening behind the scenes all along? The answer may still be unfolding right now. Please don't forget to subscribe to my page, follow, like, and share for more hidden history, untold stories, and fascinating historical mysteries.